The big rivals to the 956s and the 962 later were the Jaguars. These cars raced against them and actually beat them at Le Mans. And that was a huge deal. They had a couple different liveries over the years. In the US, they were sponsored by Castrol, so they were green and red. And in Europe, they were sponsored by Silk Cut, which I believe is shaving gear. Anyway, really interesting cars at the time. They were very different from the Porsches, which were 6 cylinders. These were 12 cylinders, but spectacular on the track. They actually look so different because they have those spats over the rear wheels. And this is a pretty good likeness. I've been showing you these comparison pictures so you can kind of see what the real cars look like versus the ones that we're going to talk about. And this is probably one of the better ones of these off-brand models. So going in chronological order, this is about 5 years after the 956, 962s when this debuted. Those were about 10 to 15 years after the 917s really got going. But when this showed up, it was a major competitor for the 956, 962s because Porsche had gone from a flat 12 to the turbocharged 6-cylinder, flat 6, and the Jaguar came in with a naturally aspirated V12. And it was sort of like, it would have been fascinating to see one of these against a 917 if they developed it in time, but they didn't. This particular car is number 2, Silk Cut Jaguar. It is the one that won Le Mans, at least that's what it's representing in 1988. When this won, it was the first time that Porsche had not won Le Mans since 1980. Porsche had this huge streak going, and Jaguar came and interrupted it. Now, like the other ones, this one is got a lot of really clever building techniques. I want you to see how the rear axle is narrower. Now, in the real cars, they're a lot closer than that, but I think they are slightly narrower on the real ones too. And that's because of these spats or panels here, whatever you want to call them. I believe the traditional term is spats, but maybe that's debatable. That covers the rear wheels for aerodynamic purposes. This one's pretty chunky also. This is very playable if you're looking for one that's like has some playability to it. And it has the clever addition of the mirrors. This is the first of these cars that we've looked at now that actually has mirrors on it. And these are pretty sturdy. They're really in there because it's a, I said it was sturdy and then I just broke it. These mirrors are basically little studs that go all the way down inside the structure of the car. The only difficulty building this one was that the circle bits at the top were not cut out of the sticker, but the windows were, so that was nice. And you can see how well that goes together when the windows are cut at the factory and not with just me doing it with a razor blade. And as far as the interior, not a whole lot to see there really. It's just a seat. A minifig will fit in there. None of these came with minifigs, but this has stickers for it, just like the other ones did. Construction-wise, it's very similar to the 956 was. The whole front end comes off in case you wanted to crash into a wall somewhere. And the really cool thing at the back that is worth noting, and this is just a really cool car, is, well, first of all, if you wanted to get more downforce, or you pick the way it would be on a road course, because this spoiler is very low, like it would be at Le Mans, but at other tracks this would be higher up for downforce. You could just add a spacer in here and raise that up. Do you see these here? That's actually what the exhaust pipes do look like on the real car. You can look it up on the internet. And as far as what part is it, well, if you take that assembly off and clipped in there, it's really hard for me to get my fingers around it. There you go. It's a pistol. So yeah, that's kind of cool. I thought that was neat. The other sort of hidden feature here, and again, underneath these panels is just solid brick, so I'm not going to take them off. But what I did think was cool is how the stickers use, or this model uses, the yellow on the side is done with a piece, and then the stripe continues with a sticker. So you still get that look of that stripe coming all along, but it's sometimes pieces, sometimes sticker. I thought it was pretty clever. But here's the bit that I really liked about this one, if I can get it off. You pull off the engine cover, well, aside from the pistols were kind of cool. And this one actually has an engine in there, and it has 12, these are binocular pieces, and there's your 12 cylinder. You know, they're kind of a flat 12, I guess, or but it's a V12 in real life, and these would just be, I guess, your carbs or whatever on top. But that's pretty cool. So if you wanted to have, have this show up in the pits and be doing your tire changes, working on the engine or switching out the drivers, or you had to replace the nose because somebody had gotten into a shunt, as the commentators like to say. They had a shunt. Oh, this is also worth noting. These pieces underneath that there are these kind of gold brick pieces normally. I thought that was kind of clever. But yeah, you can really do a lot with this one, and yet it's also sturdy. If you do need to change your rear tire on your pit stop, of course you'd have to pull off the spat on that side, and there's access to your tire to do your tire change. So yeah, all in all, this is probably, I don't know if I want to say it's my favorite, because I really like all of these, but it just has a lot of cool stuff. It just really does. Anyway, so there you go. That's the Jaguar. None of these come with paper instructions, but what they come with is a link to a PDF. Now, this might vary depending on who you buy it from. I won't send links or include links because I just can't. There's so many variables as to what's available when. But when you do get them, what you'll notice is that the instructions are very much done in the Lego style, and they include where the decals go and things like that. And I find them very easy to follow. There was, in the case of the Jaguar, and I think in the case of the 956, some questions about colors sometimes because they were a little bit off. And if I can find it, I will give you another example. So you'll see on the Ferrari, that is black, not yellow. So sometimes there's weird little things like that. But otherwise, these are very easy to follow. You could print them out if you really needed to. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little tour through my Lego race car garage, even though, as we discussed, they're not Lego. But gosh, they're pretty cool, and I hope that you are going to be watching IMSA and finding yourself some interesting things to build regardless of who makes them.